July clashes. We start this hour in Lebanon, and the Israeli military has said that it's carried out a series of airstrikes across the south of the country. According to the Israeli Defense Forces, targets included a training compound used by Hezbollah's elite Radwan forces, along with several military buildings and a rocket launching site. The strikes come just days after Israel and Lebanon sent civilian envoys to monitor their US-brokered ceasefire. Despite the truce, both sides continue to accuse each other of violations. Lebanon's media outlet confirmed that Israeli warplanes struck multiple locations in the south, raising tensions along the border once again. The Israeli military says the targets posed a direct threat to the state of Israel, highlighting ongoing concerns about Hezbollah's military activities in the region. Joining us now is Gedaliah Blum. He is a Middle East affairs expert, joining us live from Eli in Israel. Thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World, Gedaliah. Now, of course, this ceasefire, after a very violent few months, was brokered last year, just over a year ago now, in 2024. And of course, the IDF has struck Lebanon multiple times, what it calls Hezbollah training sites, military sites, etc. What's different about this escalation that's happened in the past 24 hours?
Nothing is different, and certainly, the headline is Israel breaks ceasefire. In fact, there was a ceasefire agreement, which a lot of people are forgetting about, and that some of the terms of the ceasefire agreement was that Hezbollah would be moved north of the Litani River, that they would disarm. They are doing neither of those, and so they're actually bringing in more weapons. Iran is transferring more weapons into Hezbollah's hands. Al-Jolani's guys within Syria are helping facilitate the weapons transfer into Hezbollah's hands. So while people might think that there's quiet, we understand what quiet means. We learned what quiet means on October 7th, when you leave an enemy who exists solely for the destruction of Israel. If you let them go quietly, they are going to rearm and rebuild and remain an existential threat to Israel, and Israel is not willing to do that. We are fulfilling our obligation under the ceasefire agreement and giving the Lebanese government an opportunity to disarm Hezbollah, in which they did agree to, with a deadline coming up within about 2.5 weeks. And they have, at this point in time, have done zero on that front. And so Israel is doing what it is obligated to do, and it's to secure its borders and its communities from a Hezbollah stronghold.
Gedaliah, I just want to give our viewers a bit of the perspective about the volume of these strikes. Between mid-October and mid-September of 2025 alone, monitoring organizations recorded over 3,250 Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon, the highest monthly total ever recorded in this region. Given the intensity of this bombing, how can Israel justify continuing such operations after this ceasefire has been signed?
Yeah, so very simple, okay? Just last week, Israel and Lebanon, not the military, not through just international mediators, but its own government officials had sat down together and to discuss the day after Hezbollah. That only occurred after that long list of attacks that you just made. So I'm going to tell you something. We need to separate very clearly attacks on Hezbollah stronghold and attacks on Lebanon, because Hezbollah is not Lebanon. Hezbollah is an implant of Iran, who's taken over Lebanon militarily and politically. And I think it's very important for all of your viewers to see that there is really no daylight between the Israeli
Hezbollah
and the Lebanese.
Hezbollah is who the ceasefire is signed with, correct? And that's who you've struck over 3,000 times in the space of 1 month.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. The ceasefire is not signed with Hezbollah. The ceasefire was signed with the Lebanese government, who promised in the agreement to disarm Hezbollah. Hezbollah would never sign an agreement to disarm themselves. No terrorist organization ever in the history of the world has ever disarmed themselves. So that is not true at all. The agreement was signed with Lebanon. Lebanon is not able to fulfill its obligations. So instead, they're very happy, and I know this, they're very happy to see that the Israeli government and the IDF targeting and disarming Hezbollah in a way that they can never do, because it would only spark a civil war within Lebanon, and they do not want to see that. So they're very happy to see, as long as Lebanese targets aren't targeted, as long as they're isolated to Hezbollah strongholds, they're very happy, especially when it comes to the supply lines. And I think at the end of the day, we see that they're very happy because they are sitting down with Israeli officials and discussing economic prosperity between two countries, which we all understand will only happen when Hezbollah is no longer in power.
Gadalai, if you don't mind, just briefly talk about the Radwan fighters that were targeted in these strikes. What more, just briefly, can you tell us about them?
These are some of the highest trained jihadi terrorists that exist right now on the ground. They're very, very highly trained. In fact, I'll tell you this, and I'll tell your audience. On October 7th, they were supposed to be coordinating with Hamas to enter into northern Israel and take over towns and highways and junctions, and essentially cut off the whole north of Israel from the rest of Israel. They are very capable of doing that. So we have to understand that when we target them, we are not looking to take over Lebanon. We're not looking to occupy Lebanon. We're not looking to expand Israeli borders. What we are looking to simply do is to push off those who seek harm to Israel and the state of Israel and the people of Israel. We are looking to push them back, disable them, and make sure that they have that Israel has the deterrence power in order to keep them pacified against further attacks.
Okay, Gadalai, do stay with us as we have further updates coming out of the region.